I'm Irve Dell, and I am a longtime faculty member here. This is my 27th year in the art department, and I teach primarily 3D stuff and some performance stuff. I'm also involved in this other organization called the Gymnasium, and that is an organization that seeks to take people that we call T people that have an expertise, that's their STEM, but are really curious about the rest of the world. So you put together an artist, an architect, a scientist, a wind engineer, and put them together in the same room and talk about the topic of air and what happens.
What exactly does Gymnasium do? And is there a specific need that it's serving?
Well, we do, yeah. One of the big things we do is what we call this thing called gym thinking, which is, and these things called think tanks, because we like the idea of tinkering. What our main goal is one of our names we've given ourselves is a consortium of creative risk takers. So our initial impulse was, artists are really creative people. We're probably equally capable of coming up with interesting solutions to things outside the world of arts. We're probably capable of coming up with more things that might generate income. So we thought, let's start this organization that brings together artists as sort of maybe the driving force, but that we reach out to all sorts of other people. And let's tackle things. One of the first things we did was a think tank on the topic of air. So we brought together we had a psychoanalyst, we had an architect, we had a chemist, we had an artist, we had theater people, film people, a wind engineer. And we brought them together for a weekend just to think about air in the biggest sense you could come up with. And so we do sort of design thinking to start with play. What we ended up doing was, we do this thing where we think wildly, as many possible things as we can come up with. We ended up coming up with 3 projects out of this art team. We have a thing called Air Booth, which is sort of a symbolic public art piece, sort of designed to make us more aware of air quality and the air around us. So we've come up with a video game called Climate Rage, and then we came up with new language to describe air. So new words, we had a contest where people could submit new words to describe qualities of air. We also do a series called Odd Socks where we bring speakers together that are from 2 different fields, and instead of having Q&A, we have the audience after they've both spoken and try to make connections between these 2 different things.
What was it like collaborating with all these different people from all these different areas? Were there any challenges?
Yeah, there are challenges. I think, again, one of the things, and we kind of curate the group of people, we try to find people that, again, have this really strong stem of this T-type person, so the strong stem, that they're really good at what they've done. But they've reached a point, it's usually, kind of that mid-career point where they're like, wow, I'm really interested in a lot of other things, and I'd like to be engaged with people from outside my world. So there's a certain generosity that we try to screen for, which is not always easy, and a certain lack of ego. And what we hope to do is stretch each other and let go of some of the prescribed ways of doing things they're used to in their own field, and actually be freer, with the way they think.
Would you say that it was successful overall in terms of the way that you guys were collaborating with each other, in terms of the way that you guys have been reaching different audiences too? Yeah,
the audience thing on some of the projects is the harder thing, until we get to a stage where the thing is, disseminated to a greater degree. I think this exhibition of prototypes at the Ignite Foundation, is theoretically open to a greater public. I think our Odd Socks program does reach that. We publicize and we get people from all walks of life to come to that program and start to see a little bit of what we're talking about. Part of that is, we're still, what we're trying to do, in a lot of ways, we're kind of like a startup, so resources are always an issue. The biggest resource that's hard to get is time.
Is there anything that you would, any advice that you would give for people who want to go into entrepreneurship or who want to do stuff like startups?
To me, it's like passion and hard work. If you don't have those 2, forget it. If you're not, invested in the thing, and you don't have the hard work, and you also don't have the smarts to get the right people involved, and if you also don't find the mechanisms to get some feedback along the way, then I think you're gambling. Also, you don't ultimately really do it alone. You got to bring in other people that have some experience. You got to do your research. I think that's probably the big thing too. You do the research. And I think, I'm sure you talk about that. Who are you up against? Who else is making work like I'm making, or addressing the ideas that I'm addressing? Where are they? What are they up to? You got to do that kind of research. Speaking of research, I got to get back to work here. But
thank you so much, Irve.
And then, of course, we didn't even touch on the whole world of social entrepreneurship.